And he didn't close Guantanamo Bay.
How do you say that?
You can't close it if you can't say it. It's like
Guantanamo.
Guantanamo's Bay.
Guantanamo.
way down in Guantanamo.
I don't know. You know when you only read something and then you try to say it out loud?
No, I love it.
Jail cell.
Pointing at your genitals. I don't know. Torture stuff. Our guest this week is sketch writer, improviser, comedian, Nicole Russell.
Hello.
Nicole, we're happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me in your lovely house.
No, don't tell anybody any more details about my home.
Address is no.
All right, so do we want to get into what we're scared of this week? This is our recurring. We're only on episode 2, so I don't know if we can technically call it a recurring segment yet.
What's been scaring us?
What's been scaring us? Emma, I assume that you want to go first.
Sure. I mean, I haven't thought about it yet, but what hasn't been scaring me?
That's how I feel.
Well, I did move into a new house, and lots of closets and doors that people could hide in. And a garage, which is just inherently scary.
Oh,
That's how
garages are the worst.
I feel like that is the place that intruders get in. This is based in nothing, but that's how they get
It
in
just
the
seems
most.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Lack security, because you can just lift it if you need to.
Sheer force of will, pry that door open.
Let's not go into too much detail about that.
Oh no, it's definitely possible. Here's how.
Okay. But so, yeah, I guess my new house has been scaring me, number one. Just that. Well, and the world dying.
Right.
Yep.
That's always there.
You know,
That's evergreen.
the world exploding. Which I say explode. I know scientifically it's not going to explode probably, but it feels like it's exploding.
You hedged your bets there. You seemed very confident about the science, but then you're like, probably. It could still explode.
I don't
It'll
know.
probably just shrivel up.
Yeah.
So
like
I
a
read an
raisin.
interesting thing from there's this guy who analyzes Google Trends data. He just collects all the stuff that people Google, and he's just like, everyone's terrible, first of all, because all the shit people search for is there. But his theory was that almost no one is actually scared of any of these things that they say, like, oh, I think the world's gonna end and we just bombed Syria and we're all gonna die. Like, nobody's actually scared of it. They're just projecting that based on what they're actually searching for, because it's just how make my dick bigger and just shit like that. Like, people are just searching for real shit that's just all about them. Like, they don't actually care about the world.
I think maybe we don't believe, you will say the world's ending, but none of us are actually prepared for the end
right.
of the world.
I think that's the main point. It was just nobody actually believes that this is going to start the nuclear apocalypse, but people are just walking around oh, can you believe it? It's the end of times.
Yeah.
It's it's really
Well,
not.
I think there's a distinction between believing it and then actively choosing to do something about it. I'm going to pretend I do believe we are killing our Earth and
Sure.
we are near end times. I'm not,
I mean, relatively, probably.
yeah, but I'm not prepping for it because, what the fuck? I'm not going to survive it anyway. I'm going to just live my life and still try to figure out how to make my dick bigger.
Yeah.
Healthy attitude to have.
We are all that sort of bit day player in a drama about the end of the world where the actual protagonists and heroes watch somebody just walk in front of a train or step off a cliff because it's nope, not me.
Yeah.
Check it out.
People that are I'm not made for this.
Yeah.
I've been prepared for this day.
I don't even like camping more than one day in a row. I'm not gonna survive a apocalyptic situation.
We were just talking about how much we hate not having the internet.
Yeah.
a lot.
Right.
So we definitely.
Well,
won't
and
make
are we
it.
going to get to still do comedy shows in end times?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Everything will be replaced with cave painting.
Yeah. Satire's dead.
Yeah.
There's no
That
room.
is true.
People won't have any more need for irony.
I'm reading I Will Be Gone in the Dark.
Oh.
What's that?
That's that Michelle McNamara book about the Golden State Killer who just breaks into homes and does horrible things to people. And this is an old house, and none of these things lock. All of these things
Are you
are
serious?
Oh,
sort
no.
of for show
Steven,
only.
you should not say that on the podcast.
Well, that's why I'm trying to get Nicole not to tell people where I live.
Well, good thing I didn't shout out your address.
Yeah, the Golden State Killer is definitely a fan, and so he would be.
Well, it doesn't have to be him. It could be a copycat.
Thank you, Emma.
The Lone Star Killer.
Oh man.
Pew, pew.
He's an old-timey cowboy who does horrible things to people in their bedrooms. On that note, hey, Nicole, you want to talk about the 2 movies that you suggested for this week's episode?
Yeah, so the first movie I suggested is Amityville Horror, and I actually suggested the Ryan Reynolds version, which Kyle quickly shot down.
Well, why did you want to watch the Ryan Reynolds?
Excuse me, that scene where he's chopping wood shirtless was like very important to me when I saw it.
We've all been horny for Ryan Reynolds.
Of course.
Specifically that particular, I know that scene.
Yeah.
That is one of the shittiest movies.
It's probably bad. Another reason I was intrigued, because I hadn't watched it since I think I watched that movie when I was like a sophomore in high school maybe. And I was like interested to see if I would still find it like A, sexy, B, scary. Because there were some like pretty good jumps in there, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think like any Hollywood produced movie is going to have like effective jump scares in it.
Yeah.
But it's just like the original Amityville is so good.
Yeah.
It's legitimately terrifying.
It's to me, like I find it very
Emma
very
and I
scary.
obviously have not seen any of these movies.
Yeah.
No.
You two would definitely be out on that, I think.
It's a scary haunted.
Yeah, like a haunted
house.
house.
And that scares me more than most things because when you're alone in your house, there doesn't even have to be a bad guy there. You can be scared of air. No.
Yeah.
Like I'm already
scared of air.
well, you know what I mean? Like it's
Just
not
stuff that
Did
manifests.
you guys hear about Emma? She asphyxiated because she was scared.
I imagine a ghost is very offended right now that you would describe him as air.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, some ghosts is like
ghosts can be
"I'm
women
better."
too.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean I'm just saying like there's no way to prove I'm safe in a house if I believe in ghosts and they're in my house. Whereas like I can look in every closet and make sure there isn't a bad guy.
Okay.
So you were scared of the supernatural more than the
I am
very
the
real
opposite.
threat of men trying to murder us?
No, I would say I'm very scared of both. Don't make me choose.
Fair enough. I think I go hard after real human threats.
Yeah.
Like the supernatural is like cool, but I'm in like quasi belief. I don't actually believe in it, but
I like to pretend.
I like to
I'll
pretend.
entertain a story. Yeah.
But I mean, we're all probably going to get murdered by a white man at some point in time.
Oh yeah.
Statistically speaking,
We're trending
probably.
that way for sure.
Yeah.
Of that being our all of our causes of death.
Yeah, so I immediately vetoed
Yeah.
the Amityville Horror.
But you were also like no to the old one because you thought it was legit scary.
I was saying no to the old one because I've seen it a couple times, so I'm not like it's not going to scare me so much that like I can't function. But like I thought you two
It's
maybe
a lot
would
to
like
start
it would be a
off.
lot
It's
for
our
our
parents.
second episode.
Yeah,
to-
we need to ease into something
Yeah.
that's
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
Well, so what do we know about Creep? I mean,
Which
you
is-
guys
Well,
have
we
seen
haven't
it.
said
Again,
that that's the
Kyle-
other movie
so
yet.
that's the
Fuck,
movie.
did I-
Yeah. Oh no.
Nicole, what's your other movie?
Okay, so the second movie that I suggest, or maybe it was the first. I don't know. Another movie I suggested was Creep, with Mark Duplass.
Duplass.
I almost said Ruffalo. I don't know why.
Would that it were?
Yeah.
Oh, if only.
Which is a very like interesting, very different tonally than Amityville Horror. It's
Yeah.
like, I guess like found footage style.
We both made a very
But it's
afraid
weird because the
face.
tone is very. The villain is. I mean, we'll talk about it more, but the villain
Yeah.
is very like, kind of like cheerful and charismatic. But there's this underlying like really
menace.
creepy tone.
So we should pause the talk about the movie because these two, Emma and Steven, have not.
We
like,
don't-
They don't know anything
we don't
about
know
it.
So we get to
going into
guess.
it.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
sorry, I just
No.
No, that's okay.
That's I think
Yeah.
good to
That
know.
tracks with what little I know about it because
Yeah.
I looked up the runtime because that's a weird coping mechanism where I'm like, if it's not that long, it's not that bad.
It's real short.
It's only an hour and 22
Yeah.
minutes long. And then the Google search results had Mark Duplass kind of close to the camera, like smiling menacingly. "Ugh," but I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, this is going to be like more unsettling than scary,
Yeah.
I would bet.
I
don't
know
know.
nothing except I love the Duplass brothers.
They're great.
I saw Baghead, which was a scary movie they made. And it scared me, but I tolerated it. And I think I'm just gonna
Tolerated it.
I'm just gonna remind myself, remember the league, remember
Yeah.
The Mindy Project.
Transparent.
It's just Mark Duplass.
These are all your old friends.
It's just Mark Duplass being Mark Duplass.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny because I feel like he used like you trusting him is something that like is used in the movie in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very unsettling to me when I watched it.
You saw it in a theater?
No, I saw it at home. I just randomly, I think it was on, I don't know, was it on Netflix?
It's on
or-
Netflix. I was just gonna say, I think it's one of those like perfect examples of like a Netflix horror movie, something that didn't get a wide release.
No.
Not a
Yeah,
lot of
I
people
actually
know
hadn't
anything
heard
I've
about
never
it.
heard of this before.
It was it premiered at South by. Like it was produced by a company called The Orchard, which like does
I've
they're
heard
like
of them. Yeah.
yeah, they've done stuff. They're pretty big in horror. And I mean Mark Duplass is like a guy.
Uh-huh.
But he's not. It's not like a Duplass brothers joint. He co-wrote it with this guy named Patrick Bryce. And it's his first movie. Anyway,
Let's watch it.
yeah, we should just watch it.
Are we ready to watch it?
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not ready, but I'll pretend to be.
Fully looking at your phone. Okay, we're back. We just watched Creep. Let's take a temperature of how everyone is feeling, anxiety-wise, or maybe sort of like fear factor. I'm going to go to Emma first.
You know, would I go to a dark basement by myself right now? No.
As opposed to normally when you
Normally-
like, saunter
Normally
on
it's all
down
about
there.
those dark
Like,
basements.
ooh, let me
Okay.
at it.
That is a fair point, Kyle. I would never go to a dark basement by myself. But if like I had to get something out of a basement, would I need a friend right now? Yes.
You would just prime a new of that thing instead of going. You would order it instead of going into the basement.
No, I wouldn't. No, that's wasteful.
Okay,
I
thank
would,
you for yesing.
I would make a roommate go with me. Well, I'm just telling the truth.
Okay.
I would make a roommate come with me. So I was scared, definitely creeped out, unsettled, but it's not going to affect my life. I don't think so much. Like maybe tonight I'll sleep with the light on, but other than that, I think I'm good.
I think it's like, once again, where it's bright out. So then we were snacking the entire time.
Yeah, we've ate a lot
we
of
were
popcorn.
snacking
Sort of
and
cut some of that tension, but this doesn't feel like one that sticks with me, I don't think, which I was sort of surprised by, because we had a conversation before we started recording that like supernatural things are less scary than like sort of like real world threats, and this is definitely in that realm.
Yeah.
But for some reason it just feels like I would have never found myself in the positions that sucker in the movie was in.
Yeah.
That's true.
You sit on your high horse and judge this man
He's just trying to make some money, okay?
being a kind person.
Yeah.
I do
And-
think as a woman, though, I would never put myself in that situation.
And as Steven, neither would I. You're never gonna catch me slipping.
Yeah, answering a Craigslist ad is already something that I would not partake in. So there's that element. Also, I think the element of them making like the villain like kind of sympathetic in some ways is like makes it less like I don't
Scary.
know.
One, I think it helps that Mark Duplass is someone I know and love from
He's
comedy.
lovable. He's cute.
So, like, even though I think he did a great job,
Yeah.
his acting was great, I was still able to get out of it in my head and be like, it's just Mark Duplass.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
He's
That's
just a funny
interesting.
guy.
Like when we watched Halloween, that we talked a lot about how like it was just so silly and campy, and also about how like character development of killers in horror movies, and how it's pretty standard. It's just like there's none.
Kind of none.
Like
Yeah.
Michael Myers
Yeah.
is just kind of like
They
a
have
monolith
one
in the first
note.
movie.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is the opposite.
And this is the opposite,
We
where we
know
spend a ton of time with
too
the one
much
person.
empathy
There's
building.
one victim that we see through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Turns out there's way more than that.
Yeah.
But we spend so much time. For me, as someone who watches a lot of horror movies, I think the thing that this movie does best is that thing of making you feel like, oh, okay, I can understand why these decisions are being made. Like, yes, it is definitely a plot engine of like, okay, well, obviously he just has to do this or the movie wouldn't happen. But I could see myself in a situation where I took a job, I needed the money. Okay, maybe the person's kind of a weirdo, but they seem harmless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to just drink the whiskey than
Right.
to leave.
And you just kind
Right.
of fall into that. And
This I was having drinks with a friend of mine yesterday. She said she went on a business trip. I'm not going to name her because I don't want to out her, with a boss of hers, and the boss booked time at a spa together.
Oh,
And she was like,
no.
no, that seems weird. And he's like, no, it's like, it's okay. Not ever realizing that it was like something of a sexually charged situation. It's like typically something that couples would do together.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Or you would do with somebody who, I don't know, they're both heterosexual.
It's not a
They're of the
professional-
opposite sex.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's
weird.
very not
They have this sort of
professional.
like kind of
he's
collegial
the
working
boss.
relationship, but it still seems weird.
Yeah.
But
well, that's
as
just
the whole thing progressed, the entire time she's just like, well, this is weird, but I don't want to be impolite. And then I
Yeah.
also like, it's kind of a funny story, so you sell yourself into
right.
these
you
horrible
find yourself.
situations.
Well, now we're just describing how sexual harassment
Yeah.
works.
I mean, it's similar dynamics.
Well, that is what's
it's-
happening.
It's
Yeah.
the same.
I feel like they're trying to subvert it a little bit
Yeah.
because it's two men, but
Yeah.
like at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like it's the same
He's
social
setting
dynamics
him up.
that work.
Yeah, he's making him feel bad about
Yeah.
leaving and putting him in pressure. He's coercing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what this movie is about.
Okay.
Yeah.
For anybody who's listening and who hasn't seen it. So, the basic setup is it's a found footage movie. Our sort of protagonist, Aaron, answers a Craigslist ad for. I feel like he doesn't even know what the ad is.
He
for,
knows
though.
he's going
thought
to be
it-
filming for a
Yeah.
day.
But he thought it was a. He
thought
like
it was a woman.
who might like an old woman. Who
Which I
lives
think
up
is
in the
another
hills.
clue about like what the movie is trying to tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting, like subverting it with two
Yeah,
men was
yeah.
definitely deliberate.
Right.
Like he was maybe open to the idea of
Right.
getting sucked off for $1,000.
Yeah.
'Cause
He was like
joking.
maybe he had a little twinkle in his eye, and he's like, maybe it's
Yeah.
some cougar living up on this
Yeah.
mountain.
He
looking
did
for
talk about
some-
getting sucked
But
off all the
Yeah.
time.
I think this is the
He did say rub down.
He did say rub
which,
down.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
rub it down, rub it up, whatever.
But I think that is, I think intentional on the part of the Duplass brothers, even though the other
Oh,
Duplass.
yeah.
Jay had
Jay
nothing
was
to do with
nothing
it.
to do with it, but I'm giving him
attack us
credit.
a
He's
pack.
always
Yeah,
there.
there you
God
go.
love
Yeah.
But actually, I did look on IMDb. The guy who played Aaron
Is
came
the
up with a
director.
story. And
Oh, really?
Oh,
Is
he's
the director too,
I
maybe?
just
Patrick
assumed
Bryce?
because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, that's the director.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh, that makes
it's just
sense
the two
then.
of them
Yeah.
who made this movie.
yeah.
Which
That
is really
seems
cool.
fun.
It's kind of like,
Like,
yeah, like
what a low
we
budget.
just took
Wow,
a week
yeah.
and made an entire feature
You
film.
know,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh wow, that's
That is
awesome.
actually like very inspiring from a perspective of like
Us.
just like getting your
Make-
shit made.
got
Yeah.
an idea,
Making
just
content.
do it.
Impressed. Yeah.
So Aaron goes to this house in the hills and answers this ad, and nobody's there at first, but then he's startled or greeted by Mark Duplass,
A man wearing leggings.
Yeah.
a man in a full
Like
full
jogging
Tight
outfit.
leggings.
And so then from that point there, it's like the sort of weird social red flags are kind of going off and ratcheting up the entire time, and then it's basically just like a stalker situation.
Yeah.
I mean, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
for sure.
right, right.
And we know where it's headed because of Chekhov's axe.
Yeah.
There is a very
Check
intentional
off that.
fast zoom
Yeah.
into an
Yeah,
axe
a
stuck
quick
in a
super
chopping block.
zoom and like the cleanest. The axe is glinting in the sun.
It's never cut a piece of wood.
No.
It's just in the stump where
Yeah.
you would cut
Yeah.
wood,
Yeah.
if you could cut wood.
Or if it would
How
cut,
much
could
wood?
cut.
Would you cut?
wood cut.
If
It's
a
never
Duplass
chopped
could cut
through
wood.
wood, but it has chopped through a number of different strangers' skulls. So then from that point on, so wait, what is the entire ruse then? Mark Duplass.
Mark Duplass's character, Joseph, supposedly,
Yeah.
has cancer, is dying, has a pregnant wife named Angela, who he's been given 2 months to love. To love.
2 months. Wait, 2 months to
Romantic
love.
comedy
You
tour.
have a rom-com.
You have 3 months to live and 2 months to love.
Oh my gosh, I'm making that movie. Nobody take it.
Yeah.
We won't release the podcast
This
until
is-
you
yeah.
film it.
So
in a
this is a
weekend.
tangent, and I won't talk about it now.
Wait, this
But I'm gonna talk about it now.
You're clearly going to talk about it.
I know. Well, it just reminded me of the series I used to read as a child called the One Last Wish series, which was preteen,
Sounds
like
Cancer.
so sad.
chick
already.
lit
Cancer kids.
with girls with terminal illnesses.
Oh my!
It's like what's his name
God.
in North Carolina? That guy's books.
And Nicholas Sparks,
It's a
yeah.
Nicholas Sparks
It's
book.
Nicholas Sparks for
Guy in
preteens.
North Carolina.
I knew exactly what
knew
you meant.
exactly what it was.
I've never heard
So
Nicholas
this
Sparks
was
be
a
defined.
series that I do
Describe
know
that.
other people read. My sister and I loved it. And I do remember my mom being like, I'm not sure if I should let you girls read these.
Yeah, it's dark.
Because sometimes the girls didn't die, but
Oh.
most of the time they did.
Is it a male author of these?
No, it's a woman.
That would be very
And-
Yeah, just
creepy.
killing girls.
Basically, they get a terminal illness, it's one last wish, but it's make a wish.
Mhm.
They get a wish and sometimes they go to a dude ranch because that's like, and they meet other dying girls, and boys, because that's the other part. They fall in love. There's always love.
They go to a cancer ranch.
They go to a cancer ranch and fall in love and die. And I read all of these books.
Oh my gosh.
Weirdly religious. It feels
No,
like it's got like a
not
thing
at
of,
all.
Like, okay.
If it is, I blocked that part out. It was really just about being young and dying and falling in love.
I mean, that's Fault in Our Stars. Like,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And
It's a
I loved these books. Back to the plot. He's dying. He wants to make a video for his son, so his son
His unborn son.
can know him.
Yeah,
Buddy.
in a Michael Keaton.
Buddy, yeah.
My
Yeah,
Life.
My Life
They
kind
reference
kind of
My Life,
situation. Yeah.
which is a good movie.
So Aaron's 10 minutes in the house before Mark Duplass is bathing in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's like a lot of red flags throughout the situation,
Well,
but that would have been the deal breaker
Yeah,
for
what's
me.
funny
Yeah.
is like there are so many red flags, but he always has an explanation, and he
Yeah.
always has a way of making Aaron feel like he is like being like rude or being like
Or-
too paranoid
yeah.
for bringing
Classic
it up.
gaslighting,
Yeah, and
manipulator
he's
shit.
gaslighting
Yeah.
him the entire time.
Which I think is part of the reason, going back to Aaron being like, I'm going to get a rub down. I think that helped excuse A, why he was there,
Yeah.
and B, why he like went along with it and ignored so many red flags, because he's like,
What did I
maybe,
expect?
he feels bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost that like he put himself, I don't know. I think they did a really good job, even though I would have gotten the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
They did a good job explaining why he stayed
Yeah.
and showing us why he stayed.
And like you said up top, like Mark Duplass is so charming.
Yeah.
Like it makes like he's perfect for this.
Right. Yeah.
Because you'd be like, oh man, this guy's fun.
Yeah.
What a funny guy.
There is a real like wires crossed scrambly mindfuck thing happening where it's like it's sort of scary, or the whole situation is anxious, but at the same time you're kind of laughing, or you're feeling like you're an asshole for not like going along with it.
Yeah.
It's but the bath, I mean, nevertheless, I guess I'm in the minority then. Where
No, I mean,
No,
I
you're
wouldn't be
right.
there in
No,
the
I
first
mean
place.
it is an obvious red flag, but I just think it's interesting how like that's very clear, like right away, like what the fuck. Like first of all, he said it was so he could like simulate a tub with his son because they
Yeah.
used to have he used to have tubbing time with his
Tubby
time.
tubby time with his dad, but there was like candles lit.
and it was
so
weirdly sexual.
It was
Really
weirdly
intimate.
sexual. He was like kissing his son's feet, like
yeah. There's a lot of foot stuff.
a lot of
going
foot
on.
stuff. A lot of foot stuff.
and
And-
I get that parents bathe their kids, and like maybe that's
But
an
I
intimate
don't
thing.
think they're
but-
usually
both
in the
naked?
tub.
Yeah,
They're not
Oh,
usually in the
I-
tub with
There's a
them.
big part, and lots of people do that.
I mean,
have
lots
seen.
of people
really?
do, but
Yeah.
not my
I think
family.
my
not my
mom-
Midwest
No.
We
repressed.
never did that. Let me put
Christian
that on wax
family.
right now. That shit never happened in my household.
My sister and I would be in the tub together.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
but not
siblings
at an
for
adult.
sure.
Yeah.
No, and my mom would be outside the tub making
Yeah.
sure we
Yeah.
actually like cleaned ourselves.
I mean, I definitely at different points in time in my life accidentally saw my parents naked, and it was
sure.
super traumatic. Let he who hath not seen his dad's
Yeah.
dick.
Yeah, hasn't
Well,
everybody?
I will be
feel like
honest.
that's common.
I accidentally saw my dad sick. I would take showers with my mom when I was too scared to bathe by myself.
I've taken like
What?
When I was like 6 or 7. That's not that weird.
Two, I feel like the
But too scared to
Because of sharks.
Oh, we
Sharks.
Sure. Bath.
Toilet
Well,
sharks.
if you're
drain
6,
sharks.
Because I
Yeah.
saw Jaws too young,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and I was terrified, and it was the only way she could get me to bathe.
Dear, this is I've heard you mention it before. This is a formative experience.
Yes.
You seeing Jaws too young fucked you up.
I saw Jaws too young. I live near the ocean. It ruined my life.
oh man.
To the point where bathing and flushing the toilet were
Oh,
really
no.
scary parts of my life.
you were just a dirty, nervous little kid.
Oh, I would have never bathed
Always
if they
needed to
like.
shit. You were filthy.
Little farts coming out of your butt, like, oh, I'm so scared.
Aw.
But I would always wash my hands after going to the bathroom.
You weren't scared of sink sharks.
No, I would wash my
Too
hands
small of a hole.
first, flush the toilet, and
Yeah.
then run and jump on the bed.
Yeah.
Because the flush is what released a shark.
That's wild because it does the opposite of what you're saying.
I
When
like
you flush
the
something,
logic.
it goes
the
away
kid
from
logic.
Not
It weirdly
in
makes
my brain.
sense.
No.
you. Yeah,
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
I get it. I get it though.
No, but and I knew
And you also understood it
intellectually-
had a limited range, so if you got out of there fast enough and got
It
into
can't
bed,
swim
it
to
would be
the
like,
bed.
oh,
It
damn.
couldn't get on my
Yeah.
bed because
Yeah.
that was up high.
No water.
So what we're saying is tubs are loaded.
Yeah.
As far as sexual
Lots of,
energy and weird shit with your parents.
Even if the taking a bath with your parent isn't weird, which I don't know if it inherently is, the
You know.
shit he was
Yeah.
doing was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The creepy stuff, and when he put the washcloth over his face
It just has-
and
I-
just like started making noises.
The creepiest part to me was when he was miming the baby laying on top of him, and he was like, "Oh, you like the
You like the
fire?
fire.
Oh yeah, you'll just
we'll
stay
just
like
lay
here.
here
Fire.
for a minute and stare at the flames.
Yeah, that
So
was very
good. I
creepy.
love it.
And then we're in the woods.
Yeah.
It's found footage,
For
so
a
like
while.
you don't really have to do anything. Just sort of turn the camera off, turn it back on again. New setting, new setup.
So why aren't more people making found footage movies? It seems really
So
easy.
easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you got to get
there's
the
a ton of
pretense.
them.
Yeah, that's true. You
Well-
got to make it good. You
and,
can't
and,
just-
and seemingly you don't really need to you like loosely justify why there's a camera there, and then we
Yeah.
just go with it. At this
well,
point
and
in time,
the
'cause
whole
the
it's kind of
trope.
works because the whole premise is like you have to bring a video camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't really explain why he likes to be
Filmed.
Filmed?
I mean, that's part of his thing.
Yeah.
Clearly, because he collects them. We find out
Right.
at the
That's
end.
his token. He likes to have
Um,
this.
Token.
And the
Yeah.
Using
hair.
the language of
Yeah.
serial killers here.
His token.
I mean,
really
he is.
getting
He's a
into
serial
it.
killer.
Yeah. Well,
Wait, what is a token?
so
That's-
commonly serial killers will take a token from their victims.
Oh, got
So
it. Okay.
They'll take like someone's
Dexter,
driver's
the
license
blood
or
slides.
something.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got
Yeah.
it.
Well, and he
got it.
later takes a lock of hair,
Right.
Yeah.
but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, so I did the woods thing wasn't as scary as it could potentially be because it's daylight, but it is just Mark Duplass at the drop of a hat running.
Yeah.
away
Yeah,
he had a
sprinting.
tendency
Sprinting
to-
away.
Carrying on a pattern of behavior that will continue through the movie of
That
a
is
grown
erratic.
man sprinting away.
Yeah, which is very unsettling. Like
Extremely.
I did not really realize how unsettling it is to see a grown man just sprint around until I saw this movie. Really,
Yeah.
I think I was like, I don't like that. Stop it.
Well, I think it's just a physical example of his erratic behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's not justified.
Yeah.
He just like bolts.
Yeah.
And so it seems
Yeah.
very animalistic.
And then
Uh-huh.
doing the thing of like sort of surprising Aaron or like sneaking up behind him and then blaming his fear on him. Like, it's just a joke. No, that's not how jokes work.
Yeah.
You don't understand jokes.
yeah,
like
that was a recurring theme where he would scare him and then apologize
Yeah.
and say, "I'm
Mhm.
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
That also
Classic
is
manipulator
Yeah.
shit.
all part of the childlike thing with
Yeah.
him, where and that's why the tub and stuff is so weird because you learn immediately oh, this person is full on has the mind of a kid. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just
Yeah.
joking. Like he pretends to drown, and it's like that's absolutely something a kid would do. Settle down. It's just a joke. Sprinting away, getting excited by the first thing that you see.
Yeah.
He just sort of deteriorates throughout the movie. It's very interesting how he devolves from I'm a father and this is for my
Yeah.
son
Uh-huh.
to
Which we do find out is not true.
yeah.
Yeah, we suspected as much.
Or we
Well, so-
assume it. We actually don't know for sure it's not true, but it seems like it's
Well,
not true.
Angela's not the
Angela
wife.
is
Yeah,
his
so-
he doesn't have a
sister.
wife, so
Do we find out that it was actually his sister?
Well, I
Colleen?
want to talk about Angela.
Yeah.
Because is it too premature? We don't need to go through
no.
this chronologically.
I'm
Okay, so at some point in time, Mark Duplass passed out drugged. He's asleep
Aaron
on
drugged him. The one smart move he did, and he did not
Get the fuck out.
He did not get the fuck out.
Get out. Yeah.
He drugged him. He was sleeping, and then he just lollygagged around.
Yeah, he started fucking around in his pockets
I
and stuff
guess
like
the
that. It
We're
was
He's
all
trying to find his
terrifying.
keys. He
Yeah,
wasn't
walk
just
home.
That's what I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is
straight
there not
up.
Uber in this through
Listen,
the
y'all,
woods?
if
through the
y'all were in the
scary
middle of the
woods?
fucking woods at night and this dude was halfway asleep, you would not just straight up
I
start
think-
walking.
I think
through
I
the
would
woods
start
at night.
running.
I would smash
I would
the window
grab
of
the
my car,
antlers.
pop that shit into neutral, coast down that
Yeah.
hill.
I'd
Just
start-
ghost ride it.
Everybody's fucking John McClane until you get
Yeah.
the shit.
I feel like I feel like it would not be the smart thing to do, but I would start running just because I'd be like, I have to get
Yeah.
out of here.
Or hide because then I can't be found. Maybe
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Or try to find a neighbor's place, but they're never home in these movies.
Yeah.
so who knows? It's a vacation area. Maybe there's not
Yeah.
a lot of neighbors.
Although we did see another house near his with cars.
so he fishes Mark Duplass's phone out of Mark Duplass's pocket. The character's name is Joseph.
Please refer to him by his full name.
Mark Duplass.
What is it? Yeah, Duplass brothers, the Mark.
The Mark.
The phone starts ringing, so he dips into the bathroom. It's Angela calling, who Joseph / Mark Duplass has told us up to that point in time is his wife who's pregnant with his child, but it's actually
His sister.
his sister. He's mentally ill, and the sister's like, "Get out of the house. Where are you? I don't know where that is. Just leave."
But can we talk about how weird the sister is?
Yeah, why?
Well, she's like, "Not again."
That was my thing. Like, she was like,
Why isn't he institutionalized?
right, my
She
brother
knows
has
this.
problems, but I'm like, okay, so why?
What does
Yeah.
she know?
Yeah.
That didn't strike me as weird. I really did not think at all that she was weird, because if you have a family member with mental health problems,
Yeah.
you're like institutionalizing them for most people is going to be like the last thing you do,
Yeah.
Right.
And it's easy to
It's
justify.
also not.
But
It's not as
but
easy as
she
just dropping
knew-
somebody off.
Right,
It's like
yeah.
sorted.
She knew that he was dangerous.
Well, but I think I don't know.
It
if
felt
she
like not to
knew-
the degree to which.
Yeah,
he
No,
was.
she doesn't
To
know he's a
me-
murderer, but like, why? I guess the way she was casually warning the guy, like, get the fuck out.
She was trying to
Yeah.
not scare him, is what
Yeah,
I read it
yeah.
as. She was
Yeah.
trying, because when he asked point blank, like, "Am I
Is
in
he
danger?"
dangerous? Yeah,
she
yeah.
hesitated
Yeah.
and didn't want to say like yes. That's
Yeah.
how I read it. Is She
Yeah.
was just like, "Okay, yep, no, everything's fine. You just need to go."
Yeah.
I didn't
like-
find it super unbelievable. I guess I just was like, if she, like, why isn't she keeping better tabs on her mentally ill brother?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she lives halfway across the
Yeah,
country.
it's not her responsibility.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
But I guess, so
how dare you folks make Angela complicit in this?
what I'm
I
saying
like
is,
Angela.
I like Angela too. But it seems weird to me that she knows he's dangerous in some way, but not doing anything about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
like-
there's like something. I don't know.
Well,
The
maybe
way-
maybe he's hiding it well though.
Yeah,
he
But
doesn't
she
know.
Yeah.
knows he's dangerous because she says, get out.
and he's alienated his whole family. Like,
Well, maybe
So-
they. The thing is, too, maybe they are doing something about it. Like, we don't know what happened before that, because she's
Yeah.
like, she's surprised to hear this phone call. She's calling to check up on him.
Yeah.
so maybe he
Yeah.
was in.
Did he
some
escape
kind
from
of-
an institution or
Yeah.
something? Like, anything could happen. Like,
That's
we
true.
don't know the history.
That's true. It doesn't, in
I
any
will
way,
win you over.
it doesn't like, I still really like the movie and think it was well done. That's just the one part where I'm like, well, what's Angela up to?
So you're paranoid by nature, and that's what's going to keep you alive in one of these situations. Don't trust anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot. Was he drugged after the Peach Fuzz reveal?
No.
No.
Okay,
Before.
So at some point in time, in this sequence of events in this sort of weird mountain home, Joseph, Mark Duplass, tells Aaron to go get a jacket out of a guest closet or something like that, and he opens it up, and there's this sort of like fright mask of a scary wolf.
Yeah.
And then later on, Joseph tells a story about how he essentially sexually assaulted his wife,
Yeah.
who has a fetish for bestiality porn while wearing the mask.
Yeah. I think that's a made up story. Where
I
you
was
guys
wondering-
Or did he rape his sister?
Yeah, I was thinking that,
no.
like, I guess that's possible, but I think because it seems like a story that a childlike person who
Yeah.
doesn't know anything about sex
Would
Would
say,
make up-
yeah.
would make up. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
seem true.
Because he also said that it's like his dad made the mask when
Right.
we first see the mask, but later on he bought it at the 99-cent store. So it's like the stories
Well, we
are
find
never
out it's
quite-
not even his vacation house, so
it's a rental.
probably nothing
Yeah.
is true that he's told us.
Yeah.
It's just I wonder what the like point, like I mean I know he's not like really like it was written, but I like wonder what the point of that story was like in the script. Like it
I
didn't
think
seem
testing the waters
Yeah.
just to
of
be like
do you want to fuck with this mask?
yeah
Yeah, that's how I read it. And like a power thing of like,
Mm-hmm.
again,
I've
a
done a
sexual
bad
harassment
thing.
thing where
Yeah.
like you would tell like a dirty joke or something to
Yeah.
somebody.
And see how they
To-
react,
yeah,
Sort of,
exactly.
yeah.
and then apologize for it.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And it's like,
Did my rape story
Kind of-
freak you out?
oh,
He
that was such a
literally
great
did
line.
Literal
That was
line
such
for
a
the
good
movie.
line.
And we all laughed out loud. Because it's like, well, that's how you tell a rape joke.
It's so funny. Like, this movie is really funny.
It
It's
is
a really
Yeah.
funny
And
movie.
it's and then as we're walking through the story again, I'm like, oh god, like nothing matches, like nothing's consistent. It's like you can really see how you would potentially be totally caught off guard by like all of this misinformation.
Yeah.
And so eventually, so Aaron is told to get out of the house by Alice on the phone. So he
Angela.
makes Angela, and he tries to make a break for it. Joseph is standing in front of the door.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing the wolf
Wolf
mask.
mask.
And this
And-
is where
And he's
well,
grinding his ass against
he's
the door.
rubbing his butt on the door, and it's
Yeah.
so funny.
before
Yeah.
that, there's the bit on the porch when he goes to the porch and like Aaron kind of surprises him and he says, "Death is coming," which is like, to me, the one point of the movie where it's like, okay, you're trying a little too hard to be a horror movie right now. It's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Tonally, it felt weirder because it's almost like he's possessed at that point.
Yeah.
As opposed to just
he was like in like
nuts.
a trance-like state, which was kind of like.
It's one of the only
than-
times you could see him acting like a crazy person.
Yeah.
I also kind of liked it though because a couple of times he would say shit like that, and it's like, well, he's also made up the story that he's dying.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wondered if he was gonna push Aaron to kill him versus him killing Aaron.
Got it.
I didn't think that was necessarily where it was gonna go, but they did a little bit of misdirection with that.
Yeah.
They did touch on that a little bit when he talks about how you had murder in your eyes and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, and there was like
The knife.
the whole thing where like he drugged him was like a moment where like Emma, I
Who's the
think
bad
you were
guy?
like, is Aaron the creep?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was a little bit of like, and I think that's another thing, like playing on the like, if this is like, you know, mirroring like this type of like coercive like sexual thing, it is like it is like putting it back on like, are you like the one that's being rude? Are you the one? Are you the creep?
Yeah.
Like
That's how
the
gaslighting
victim,
works.
like being I
Yeah.
don't know.
So then there's sort of like I guess like a second or third act that is like away from the house. They scuffle. We've kind of realized through kind of like, I guess, playback video that Aaron is back at home now. He's safe. And presumably he's gotten away from Joseph.
I think the third act
After-
is the scariest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where shit gets
So he's
like
back in
real
his
fun.
house.
So he leaves the cabin, but first we see a video of Joseph burying some trash bags
that look like bodies.
that we think are.
We're
Aaron's
led to
body.
believe
yeah.
it's Aaron's body.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we see
a
Aaron
misdirect,
filming
yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
He's been sent this video of Joseph burying trash
Right.
bags, which is very creepy.
And so then everything just kind of like ratchets up from that point on. It's just like escalations of like weird, remote like behavior.
He knows where
Yeah.
he
He's
lives.
taking video of him. He's sending him packages.
He's
It
cutting
definitely
his hair when he
turns-
sleeps.
Yeah.
More traditionally horror at
Yeah.
that point, for sure.
Yeah.
Which it earns, I think.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
It does all that work and
Yeah.
it becomes really fun.
yeah.
to
And
watch that all topple.
I was spooked by all that stuff, but I was willing to watch it because, I mean, I had such a problem with Halloween because there's no character development, and this movie is all character development,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah. So if you're picking a movie in the future, folks, that's
Emma likes character
Characters
development.
wanted.
ruthless
Yeah.
criteria.
Characters welcome and characters wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Characters
Characters welcome.
welcome.
But
So I think that,
get your USA
Come on,
Network
get our
slogans
get your
right.
Tagline
Friend of the
right.
podcast, USA Network.
Shout out to Mr. Robot. It's on USA.
I've never seen it.
It's so.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Except for, you know what drives me nuts about Mr. Robot? That the corporation is literally called like Evil
Evil Corp?
Corp.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. It like.
Oh, but it's like you're watching it through his eyes.
Right.
So,
I get it.
Okay,
I
And he's
get
a
it.
big
But
Rage
I
Against the
was just
Machine
like-
fan. Or
Yeah.
I just was like, that's a little heavy handed.
It is a little
Yeah.
heavy-handed for sure.
something. Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Catch up. It's available for streaming.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Freaking nerd.
So what's happening in the house then? He's basically Aaron seems like he doesn't have like
Friends.
who he can go stay with.
Right. That was weird. We were all saying, like, go stay with a friend. Like,
Because I mean, like once you're unsafe in your own home, it's like kind of like game over.
Yeah.
At that point in time, like if he knows where you live, we were joking
You
like
move.
you got to move, but
Yeah.
like
Of
you
course.
sort of have
I
to.
absolutely
right?
would.
Yeah.
Because it will only. I mean, has anything ever de-escalated when somebody's like harassing you?
I mean,
and
only
trying
if
to-
you can get them like arrested
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like,
Restraining order.
restraining order. But I don't think
Which he
this
does
guy would
call the
listen
police.
to a restraining
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
He does call the police and they
Useless.
blow him off, which is real.
I
Yeah.
bet they're gonna feel really stupid when they
When they
discover
find
the
his
body.
ex-body.
Yeah.
Axe split head.
In a public
Well,
park.
it looked like he was living in like a Hollywood bungalow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And like you can't just move. Like that's real
got-
estate
it's
in
rent control.
Hollywood.
That's
is
true. Like
tough.
it was a nice house.
It was a really
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
house.
Like he's probably grandfathered into some.
But get a
Yeah.
security
dope-ass monthly
system
rent.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Like, come on.
Or like some drapes.
He did
My
change his
dude-
locks.
he did. Yeah, he
did-
did.
Oh,
Like,
I missed
and
that.
or he drilled in like a new
A deadbolt.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
putting in a new deadbolt.
Yeah,
Okay. I would still get a security system, maybe a dog, maybe a roommate.
Yeah.
a dog would be.
Emma's safety tips.
Yeah.
Also, I would move.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was a cute house.
Well, so
Yeah,
then
I'm not giving up that house.
It was a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots
nice
of really
landscaping, really nice
The
plans.
cabin.
houses
Yeah, really
in this
just
movie.
solid interior
There-
design.
Some great real estate, but real estate porn in this movie. So first he sends him a video of him bearing bearing quote unquote a body, just black bags that look like a body. What was the second one where he
It was
apologizes?
the knife and
It's the pack. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's a-
it's a large box filled with packing peanuts that has a knife, a second DVD,
And a
then
wolf
stuffed-
stuffy.
A baby wolf.
a plush wolf.
and he goes into this long story about how wolves are misunderstood and murder the things they
They
love.
love
and
too hard.
And then
Yeah.
he thinks Aaron's got a little bit of a murderer in him, and
Yeah.
he should murder that. He should
He
cut
should
open,
enjoy
gut
the
that
wolf.
wolf,
And
and
Aaron
find something
does.
inside.
Aaron thinks about gutting open the wolf with the knife, and then he
He's
puts it down.
Very specifically doesn't.
and
which
then
is interesting.
he's like, I'm not that.
Instead, he just reaches into its asshole.
Yeah,
and
he just rips
it
its
apart.
anus open.
Tears open that ass.
which is
Tear
a
that
much
ass up.
kinder way to kill someone.
Yeah.
And apparently is how some animal eats. Maybe wolves.
Eat
They
each
eat
other's
you-
ass out.
They
Hell
kill
yeah.
through the asshole.
I mean,
Wolves
like
eat
wolves are
ass,
millennials,
eat
right?
ass,
They love to eat
eat
ass.
Eat
There
ass.
might be dogs.
It's 2018. Wolves eat ass now.
I feel like this is something Tevis has told me,
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
but it might have been something. It
Let's
might have been
Tevis.
something. completely-
Our
Love you,
listening
Tevis.
audience, our weird friend Tevis.
But it might have been someone else. Anyway, apparently,
defender of billionaires.
apparently,
love
wolves
you, we
or
love you.
dogs, the asshole is the end point when you eat something, when you kill something.
Fuck.
Oh, okay.
Now we should look this up, but I don't know how you look it up without getting porn.
If you know
Yeah.
what the entry point for eating is,
Yeah, get at us on our Twitter.
Yeah.
hashtag eat that ass.
Hell
Yeah, we'll be able to easily find it on
That's a
Twitter.
crowded-
with
that's
the
a crowded
Eat that
hashtag.
ass.
It's a very crowded hashtag.
So inside of that wolf's ass is a locket that has a picture, a locket that is a music
Also,
box
I
too.
didn't even know that existed.
That doesn't
to be,
exist.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, what are
That-
the
that
mechanics
might
in
not.
this very small locket?
Yeah.
That, it
That was the
holds and plays
biggest thing that
music?
took me out of the
but they
movie.
make musical greeting cards.
Yeah, but that's
But
like-
it's you.
Yeah,
can
you're
feel
right,
the,
you're
like,
right.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he even said, I made it for you. He's like, I made this for you. Which, come on.
Yeah.
It's a locket with their two faces in it, and
Which
it
is
plays
creepy.
a little bit of kind of music, and it's got their initials engraved in it. And then our hero throws them out. He throws that and the DVDs out.
Yeah.
And then the next escalation is
Why would you throw it out? Evidence.
evidence.
Yeah.
Go to the police with this.
Yes.
I mean, the police have already. Right, like why
But
didn't
if
he
you
show?
go to the
That's
office
true. Why didn't he
with your
show them the
videos?
video? He was like, he's just being creepy and weird, and the police are like, it's not illegal to be creepy and weird, and like,
Yeah, he wasn't being specific
It
enough.
feels
Yeah.
like there's threats in there, though.
Although I do know that when you want to put a restraining order on someone, you have to tell them like, this is harassment. You cannot contact me anymore.
Okay,
Which is fun to put that onus on the person
right,
being
exactly. That's
harassed.
so. ugh.
Right.
But anyway,
Also, I don't think he'd listen to a restraining order.
Oh, definitely
Yeah.
not.
No, of course not.
definitely
Yeah, he
not.
would not respect those
No.
boundaries,
Yeah,
I don't think.
He acts murders in the daytime.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
All
yeah.
of the usual rules
Yep.
are out the window.
11 a.m. in
Oh.
a trench coat.
I can't wait till we talk about that. Are we there yet?
Well,
Well, almost,
like blah blah
almost,
blah.
right?
He
Yeah.
breaks and enters. He clips a little bit of his hair, films him while
While
he's doing
sleeping.
it.
Films his
He
tootsies.
films his feet again, a bit of a foot thing, and he's like, and then sends him a video or puts another DVD basically next to his head.
Had cut open the screen, like very just. You would just feel extremely violated. Yeah.
Super
Mhm.
unsafe. And that is like, hey, maybe this was weird that you threw this stuff away, but it's cool. Meet me at this public park next to this lake where kind of like the whole story started. It'll be totally safe. At 11 a.m., it's bright and sunshiny. Everything will be cool. We'll bury the hatchet.
Yeah, he has this whole thing
Does
about
he actually
how,
say bury the hatchet?
No. He's
Oh.
like, in your fucking skull.
That would have been amazing.
on
That would have been
nose.
great. No, but he has this whole thing about how he is like he does things that he's not proud of.
Like, he confesses.
It's a
He's so
real moment
sorry.
of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Well, and not to
You
point
think,
fingers,
yeah.
but y'all are like, see, that's once again, it makes the character sympathetic again because we kind of have
Right.
to keep getting more and more empathy for this crazy character so that we understand why the
and that's
protagonist
what's
keeps
so-
coming
Classic
forward.
abuser behavior
And
too.
that's
Yeah.
what's so
Yeah.
unique about this movie is that like they spend a long time on a monologue that's just like
Such
straight
long
on
monologues.
Mark
Yeah.
Duplass delivering this straight to the camera, like not a lot of movies would do that, especially not a lot of horror movies. So it's really like putting in the homework to like get you to care about
not a
this
lot of horror
person.
movies. The protagonist is the villain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was the character that was developing. He was the one that was like the main focus instead of the victim.
I mean, we kind of care about Aaron, but
like we didn't know that much.
Not
about
But there's
him.
a reason that we switch POV. The movie doesn't end when Aaron gets killed.
Right.
Like we switch POV at the end to
him.
And
Mark Duplass.
Yeah, he had been watching.
And it's like now we're in his area.
And so again, turn that camera off, turn it right back on, boom. Like we're in a new setting. It's that same.
It's a super wide shot of a park bench.
There's a park bench
at the lake,
in the lower
very
right corner.
picturesque.
And Aaron's like talking to Mark Duplass. Like he's not talking to himself, which is sort of interesting. And he said, like, I've got 911 on speed dial and I'm filming this. So like, but I'm here. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And then we see he gets out of his car. He walks into the background, kind of looks around for a bit and then sits on the bench.
And doesn't turn around.
Back to
turn around.
Yeah.
And then Mark Duplass rolls up, full trench coat, pulls first the wolf mask out, puts that on, and then pulls
And
out.
he's only about 6 feet away from him at this point.
He's like within action distance.
Wild that he can't hear him.
You'd hear the crunch of the grass or something.
Yeah. I mean, he does do a little bit of a tiptoe. It's very cartoonish.
Yeah.
Which
it's
I think
very
is
on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100% intentional because it goes with his childlike.
Yeah.
the little
framing
song
this.
for Peach Fuzz.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why he wants to film this
Yeah.
because he's like making his own story.
Yeah.
And then he takes out Chekhov's axe, which we saw in the
beginning.
first 2 minutes
Yep.
of the movie, and just buries it in his fucking head.
It's
In
such
broad-
a
in
it's
broad
brutal.
daylight.
It's really brutal.
It's intense.
I fully screamed.
Yeah, there was some screaming going on there. There was a very sickening thud as it made contact.
I mean,
I would I think I expected more spurting, but I guess it wouldn't.
right. It really
just-
probably
'cause there's
would.
not a lot of
Blood.
blood. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
capillaries
how
in
it would
the
work,
head.
but I believe him.
Well, and it's like I don't get how movie magic works or whatever, but I'm like, fuck.
How did they do
like,
that?
How the
Yeah.
fuck did they do that? Because he's just sitting there and he fully swings the axe as kind of as hard as he can, and
It was probably like a
watermelon
rubber axe.
right behind his head. A rubber axe? Oh, it's taking the magic out
That
of it.
still hurt.
Yeah.
a watermelon.
I do wonder how they did that.
He like
'Cause there was
raised
no
the axe.
cut.
Okay, cut. And then they bring in a watermelon with a smiley face drawn on it. And it's wearing a wig.
Bad wig. Yeah.
There was no like obvious cut though.
I mean, it might
It
have.
was
You're
all-
right. It might have been
Guys,
a
what are we doing?
dummy?
This movie was made in 2014. It was just CGI'd.
What?
Oh,
You think?
I'm literally like, what? But there's no cuts. Tips and tricks.
They definitely could have had a dummy.
They could have had a dummy though. That is
it
possible.
seems like the
They
movie that would
watched
use
him move
practical
around and sit
effects.
down.
Yeah, I don't think Duplass brothers use CBD
CBD oil.
Do you have joint pain? Are you always killing strangers on Craigslist?
I bet they love CBD oil. I would love to
yeah.
talk. Jay Duplass. Jay Duplass loves
Jay
CBD
for sure.
Yeah.
oil.
He's the cuter of the Duplass brothers.
Really,
What?
I think Mark is.
Get out of
I don't
town.
know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're both
little
cute.
cutie pies.
They're both cute, but Mark is my favorite.
I'd let him tag team me.
Oh yeah, I think
Sure.
we had mentioned we were talking about Duplass brothers in the group chat like earlier this week.
Oh,
And how
I
we'd,
missed
like,
that.
Yeah, I said I'd like to have group sex with them.
I would definitely.
Well, you
fuck
know
either
why?
of
It's
them.
because they created that that Netflix docuseries Wild Wild Country.
Oh,
And
so
They
good.
did?
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
producers of
They're the
it.
producers.
Yeah,
That's
so I-
why the music's so good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, I
Yeah.
have so much to talk to them about when I meet them.
Whenever
know.
we're all at their
They're
order.
coming to town.
Yeah, whenever
Actually,
they're railing
coming
me at
to
the same
town.
time.
Whenever our 10 friends have sex with the 2 of them.
And it's all
That's why they're
consensual.
coming here. They're coming to town, and we're all gonna have sex.
They're
I'm
big
so
pendulum
excited.
heads. So that's it, right? That dude gets straight up murdered in
Broad daylight. That
Yeah.
is. There's something so unsettling about it.
Very
He
true. It
doesn't
is
even
creepy.
care. It doesn't matter if you meet him in a public place because he does not care.
He's gonna kill.
Honestly,
It's
yeah.
scary.
It's so cartoonish, though. You'd probably think someone was filming a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it at this point we learn that he's done it a bunch of times already, and so like that's another thing that happens with
He's
serial
above the
killers is they
law.
just like they reach a certain point and they go, oh, I'm God. Like,
Yeah, I
everything's
can
fine.
kill-
The sort
yeah.
of fear mechanism isn't
Yeah,
there
it's just
anymore.
gone.
Yeah.
It's like
And it's not even so much
Cool.
a thing where like they're trying to get caught. It's really just like they think they cannot get caught.
Yeah.
And a lot of them can't.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them out there, and they're
that's
always
a thing
around.
that
and
you learn
keep your
when
head on a
you
swivel.
become an adult. It's like a lot of people get away with murder, like all the time.
Yeah, like every day.
Yeah.
Golden State Killer, for
Okay,
example, in the book that
okay.
Steven's reading right now.
Still unfound. Still haven't.
unfound.
But then last part,
Yeah.
we go
Coda.
to Mark filming,
Epilogue.
and this was great when he's like, you know what? You're the best dude ever. I love you so much because you didn't fucking turn around.
You didn't turn
That
around.
was really
like
smart.
Yeah.
you
'Cause you
you
love me.
trusted
yeah, because
me.
you love me and
Yeah.
you trust me, and you after all this, you thought I was a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
That was
interesting.
so
That's
creepy.
such a smart choice because like
yeah,
they knew how they wanted to stage it, and it's like, well, how do we explain this? And it's like, well, probably realistically, it's just because the guy like either wasn't paying attention or was maybe a little dumb. But like to turn that into a character moment was like,
Yeah, that is
mwah.
smart because otherwise we just have to like have like suspend disbelief and just be like, okay, well, I guess like maybe you wouldn't hear. I don't know,
Right.
but like to make it like no, he didn't turn around because he trusted him.
right.
So
yeah.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he puts all the DVDs of Aaron.
Well, he said
labeled
you're the
Aaron.
best of all
All
of
of
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
And
like
then we see him.
He has a closet of DVDs, all fun, labeled with names
Cool
of
names.
victims.
Aaron's has a heart.
all men's names too.
It was. I saw
Yeah.
Kyle and Steve,
Nice.
which is fun.
Yeah.
I didn't see any other names. Your two were
Yeah,
the ones I
didn't
picked out.
Yeah. And there's also a moment like when he's rewatching the footage at the end where after Joseph had axed Aaron, then
Oh, yeah.
he comes back up to the camera and like scares himself.
Yeah.
He screams in the
also-
camera and then screams
Screams
watching
watching.
it,
Yeah.
which is
And
totally
may or may not
believable.
Yeah.
may or may not have been beating off whenever he was watching that video.
Unclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
He
some
does-
heavy
'Cause he
breathing.
did do a little bit of genital touching when he was passed out on the
Yeah.
fireplace.
And
so-
Emma laughed uncontrollably
Yeah.
at it.
so funny.
Yeah, that was so. I was like,
it was
We were
so
all very
gross and
unsettled.
funny.
yeah.
And Emma
I think it was
fully
very
laughed.
funny that he stuck his hands down his track pants while he was drugged, talking
loose.
Yeah.
about his peach fuzz wolf mask,
Yeah, it is very
and
funny.
started jerking off a little.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
That is hilarious.
Maybe
Yeah.
he's the one that is that animal story. Like maybe that was about him, not
Yeah.
Angela.
Yeah.
Probably.
like it
Clearly,
happened.
he
Yeah.
likes to fuck
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
It's clearly well, and again, it's like we're 2 for 2 now with like sex and violence being
Oh.
sort of like inextricably.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his dad. The dad did it to him.
The dad
Okay.
raped him.
Because he talks about like, oh, he used to take baths with my dad, and he told me the dad told him about peach fuzz,
And his dad made the mask.
and his dad made the mask.
Oh,
supposedly,
he was
And
molested by
sang the
his
song.
dad.
Sang the song.
sang the song and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's very possible.
That's what's going on.
Oh
Cool,
man,
cool reveal that
layers.
just made everybody sad.
Yeah.
Hey, how's
Wait,
your
he is sympathetic. Oh no!
how's
Yeah.
your listen to this comedy podcast, friend?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying it? How's your drive time commute going?
Oh my god, yeah, that's so. But that's another. Like, I mean, we were talking about how this doesn't do a lot for like mental. Like, it doesn't really,
No,
and like
probably
the
not.
title doesn't. But also at the same time, like I think like it's. The fact that they made him more sympathetic to me
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like less like just like you're freaking like you know
Black
you
and
kind of
white.
are
It
like
is
villain.
yeah
It is one of the most empathetic serial killer
right
stories I've ever
and
seen.
you wonder
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what went wrong like you're sitting there like what how did he get here like
And-
what
Yeah.
failed
And they're not saying like he's a psycho.
Yeah.
He has schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Like they're not diagnosing him with anything. They're not
Yeah.
I don't think they're doing anything irresponsible.
I think the
No.
movie's taking the point of view where it's like he's just teetering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just like all it takes is just like one thing to tip him one way or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And like if this person had gotten a little bit of help earlier on in their life, they would
Right.
not be
He
in
wouldn't
this
have a library of evidence
Yeah.
for people that he's.
yeah, it's kind of, I
fair
mean,
enough.
yeah, that's what I took. It's kind of like just being like, look at like, you
Yeah.
know, we failed these people like all
Yeah.
the time and
Yeah.
like look at the consequences, you know.
let's-
comedy. We're having fun.
Well, let's talk about our ratings then. We got to
Yeah.
have like
Our scary rating.
our scary rating. So we'll just go
What
around.
was our scale
circle
last
it.
time?
1 to 5 Xannies.
Oh, yeah.
1 to 5
Xannies.
Zanny bars.
How scary is it? I think like so Halloween gone. I didn't really think about it after we were done watching it. I
I
feel like
did.
this one is going to linger because again, it's kind of playing in that like real space, not the sort
Yeah.
of fantastical or imaginary.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to say like 3.
That's fair.
3.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't necessarily scared watching it.
I wonder how
It's
the
just
experience
unsettling.
would be if we were watching it.
Oh, it would be
In
way
a
worse.
dark- yeah,
It'd be-
yeah.
No doubt. If I was alone watching it, it definitely
Yeah.
escalated.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
first time I watched it, I was like watching it just in my room and it was dark and like I was very unsettled. Like I'd probably give it like 4 Xannies, you know. And I'm not even really like scary movies usually like don't bother me. Like I'll be like, oh shit, while I'm watching it, but afterwards I'm like, okay. But this one I was like, Jesus Christ, like it like kind of was just a mind fuck for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So I would give it 4 on a first watch, but probably you know on a rewatch 3.
Yeah.
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 What about you, Emma?
I think I would give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Which makes me less scared of it in a way because I'm like,
Impressed with the
yeah,
story.
like I was watching
Yeah.
the craft of it. Like I
Yeah.
was like, I love those two
It's
Claus
better
brothers.
written, good
I
character
know,
development.
It's just
Jay didn't
Mark,
help.
but
And it was lean too. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
an hour,
Under
20.
an hour and a
It was
half.
a-
I mean,
I-
it's like
which no horror movie needs to be longer than 90
Yeah.
minutes.
Yep,
I
yep.
don't think.
So, but it did genuinely scare me in moments. It made me think.
It's a thinker.
It's a
Ah,
thinker.
It's a real
Thinker.
thinker.
themes and stuff.
Yeah, I would give it a. Well, I guess the real test is when I'm home alone.
Sure.
But probably 4 because I'm sure I'll be scared when I'm home alone.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Good job. I would probably give it 3 warm bath rags draped across my forehead to soothe me. Yeah, I would say 3. It like this time watching it, it didn't really do anything to me because it's again
You already-
the environment.
yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
seen
you know
it.
what's coming, yeah.
We're all basically talking and munching popcorn through the entire thing. Which, by the way, I feel like I need to note at the height of the tension, Stephen and Emma both
Oh yeah.
stood up
Yeah.
right away. We're like,
Emma's like-
does anybody need a Topo Chico? Or,
I asked
I'll
even
get it
for
for
Topo
you.
Chico.
yeah.
It was a bit, but I also did want a
It
Topo
was a
Chico.
bit that I was very relieved.
It
that
was a
you
bit, but you also straight up left the room.
Oh yes, there was a bit we followed through on.
Yeah.
were committed to bits.
I just wanted
and
that
cowards.
recorded.
One of those
for
bits that are
posterity.
based in reality.
Yeah.
I also
truth in
did
comedy,
look at the
guys.
popcorn a lot. When I needed a break, I looked at the popcorn or my computer or phone.
Oh,
or
that
plants.
truth in
Lots of
comedy. That
security
reminded
basements.
one thing that I didn't get to talk about that I want to talk about was that I'm really fascinated by the connection between like comedy and horror.
Yeah.
And like how those, because like horror movies, you know, like kills are often called like gags in a horror movie.
Word.
Yeah, like
Okay.
in like production they will call it a gag.
Okay.
And like Sam Raimi, who made Evil Dead, was like way into the Three Stooges. So like this movie I think was really interesting, and it's got that yes and thing that comedy does, where like it just requires one person to just like go on with a thing.
Yeah.
And like you just kind of have to allow that stuff to happen.
And make some like
begrudgingly
dumb
do it.
Right, and,
decisions.
like,
Yeah.
Not
say,
learn.
Right.
Not learn from anything.
Exactly. Like say
Yeah.
say yes, but still have the tone of like,
Yeah.
no, I actually don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But the movie has to continue, where the scene, whatever,
Yeah.
has to continue.
Right.
I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Horror and comedy are like there's
Yeah.
2 sides of the same. What does it say? Two
sides of the
same
yeah.
Well,
That's what it
and
is.
that kill shot, that really wide shot of him prancing up in a wolf mask with an
Yeah.
axe is so cartoonish and funny,
Yeah.
even though it's horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's
and
both.
the whole movie is kind of that vibe. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're, like we were laughing at
We're
a
laughing
lot
the
of
whole
times.
time. It's like a really long sketch for like
Yeah.
the first 60
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
It's very funny
Yeah.
and creepy.
good. A
Did
good
you-
combo?
You said 3 out of 5?
I would say 3 out of 5.
All right, cool. So would we recommend this movie to everybody? I think so.
I
yeah.
know, yeah, I
Thumbs
like
up.
it. Good
Thumbs
job,
up.
Nicole.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you very
there is a
much.
sequel everybody should check out if you watch this movie and liked it.
Yeah, they're both on
Jeepers
both on
Creepers.
Netflix.
Jeepers Creepers. No, it's called Creep 2.
I know.
Jeepers Creepers is good.
Yeah.
I like
Never
that they
seen it.
didn't make it like Creep 2 : something.
Yeah,
they just
like-
kept it simple.
Tubby time.
Yeah.
Accent for trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we give it a strong recommendation. It's sort of 3 out of 4. This podcast comes out like in a month.
Who?
But like maybe we could do some sweet plugs.
Yeah.
Nicole, what regular shows in Austin?
Well, you can see me every Friday at 7 for Movie Riot at Cold Town Theater. Every third Thursday of the month with all of you lovely people at 10 p.m. for a Pendulum sketch show, also at Cold Town Theater. And the last Saturday of every month with my improv troupe Say Uncle for The Say, which is an improvised daytime talk show.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.